Everyone, go ahead and start joining us. It's exciting to see these numbers start to climb as you join us for a very special evening with our 53 challenge, a series that both Brandi and I are overjoyed that you've decided to spend your evening with us. Yes, hello, Wendy. Good to see you. Good to see you. In fact, please do jump a hello or dump a hello. What's the dump? Go ahead and pop a hello and where you're from into our comments. We'd love to know where you're coming in from. Of course, Rodney's so good to see you virtually here.
And if you're joining us on Facebook, please also put the comments on the Facebook page of hello and where you are joining us from. A lot of great names here in the Zoom. I'm going to pull up the Facebook on my phone so I can see who's joining us there as well.
Wonderful. We've got some South Carolina too, Brandi. So you're in good company. That's exactly right. Knoxville, Tennessee. Beth, it's great to see you. Wonderful. Cincinnati. Wonderful. Milford, Delaware. I accept the challenge, right? I love Delaware. I love Maryland. I love coming into that Delmar region. And in fact, you guys have some nice things coming up pretty soon with Bonnie Gallagher and the team there. Excited about that. Well, good. Well, Brandi, a ton of people are joining us here, and I know that you're seeing our stream go live on Facebook. Everyone, I wanted to start this evening out by, of course, welcoming you to our 53 challenge. And as you know, our 53 challenge is to commemorate amazing spirits and amazing personalities that can bring other personalities together. Today, we have that opportunity again to pay tribute and honor to an incredible man. J.R. Ridinger, our chairman and founder of Market America, has created an amazing business that, Brandi, only someone with the power of belief and passion, someone just like JR could create. I would venture to say that there is no other person that could have created a level of momentum behind him to inspire people in a very different way. Brandi, I think both you and I have met incredible personalities, and we would even say that they are inspirational personalities. But J.R. Ridinger is a unique personality that managed to create a space that allowed us to share other people's dreams and help them believe in themselves. You know, I've often said that inspiration is short-lived and motivation trails inspiration, but also finds itself on Monday morning not taking care of you. And yet JR had such a passionate way of inspiring others, then motivating others, but then taking it to that third step because he believed in others. He was able on Monday morning and Tuesday morning to allow us to get up, to do more, to be inspired, to share our vision with other people. I know, Brandi, you and I have discussed both loss as well as we have celebrated our experiences and our memories of JR, our corporate team. And I really want to encourage individuals tonight. If you are new to Market America, or if you are new to the health and nutrition marketplace, and you are getting your vision about what you'd like to create, to do yourself a favor and watch J.R. Ridinger as he inspires you to believe in yourself and share what you are capable of sharing. The capacity for us to build community was something that JR stood firmly on his stage and encouraged people to do, to create their own economy, to create their own health community. And to, more important than anything, JR asked us to lock hands, lock elbows, and inspire other people to be more. And I couldn't be prouder to be a part of one of those people that he locked hands with, arms with, and said, we can be so powerful together. Brandi, I love having you here with me because of course you're someone that's allowed many people to step forward and find themselves as well.
Well, thanks, Dr. D. And, I know that we have a wide variety of people joining us both in Facebook and on the Zoom today. And some people have been with the company for a very long time and have known JR very closely. And some people are brand new and maybe have heard of him, but maybe never met him in person. But this business that he has created is a legacy that he leaves to all of us that we can move forward. And I see in the chat, right? I see people saying things like, we need to fill the arena with directors. Everyone, please help carry on his dream. And for those of you that were with us in Greensboro just 2.5 weeks ago at the annual convention, one of the biggest takeaways of that event was the power of our community. And our community, although it's a business community, it's also a family community. And I know, sometimes it's hard for family to deal with loss, and we all are dealing with loss, and everybody deals with that in their own way. But we thought it was important today to continue carrying on the 53 challenge webinar and to meet with you today and to be together as a family. And everybody handles grief differently. Everybody handles loss differently. But the best way that any of us can help support JR's dream and vision moving forward is to continue staying the course, as Dennis said, right?
Yeah.
And moving forward with this 53 challenge. So we wanted to be here with you tonight, and we thank you all for joining us. We know for you, some of you, and I'm tearing up, I know for a lot of us, it's hard, but it's important for us to be together. And one of the things that I would love, if you guys wouldn't mind joining me, is if in the chat, you could share whether you're on Facebook or in Zoom, a takeaway that you learned from JR that helped move you forward. And maybe you haven't met him yet. Maybe it's just this business, right? Maybe it's just the amazing products. Maybe it's just you're so thankful that you're here and that you're learning about an opportunity to change your financial future and perhaps create a legacy within your family. I love there. Karen wrote, the dash says it all. It's all about creating something amazing together. So if you could put in the chat for a second, and then we're going to move on and we're going to talk about, how to continue growing our business and how to overcome obstacles and objections. But we just wanted to take a minute to connect with you as a family and know that we're all going through it in our own way. But the best way that we can move forward is to continue fulfilling his dream and filling that arena with directors and helping people create a legacy for their families and helping them recognize. And I don't think there's anyone on the planet that exemplified living the dash better than JR and Lauren. Like Lauren together with JR have lived such an incredible life. And they shared it with everybody, right? They let everybody see how they were living as an inspiration to everybody. And it's so powerful to see. So just share with us what your takeaways are, and then we can go into the 52 challenge.
And people are just definitely commenting on JR and his visionary status, his definite passion that drove a new idea and made such a difference in the way they thought about what they could achieve. The dash, as you said, Brandi, many people have pointed out that JR lived his dash to the fullest, that they've inspired them to live their dash to the fullest. Focus, belief, right? We often find those words that help us create a path or to stay on course. The compassion, to inform others. We've definitely created something as a community, Brandi. And I just want to reiterate, the very best brain surgeon. I love that. That's exactly right. It was the brain surgeon.
Barry asked us just to clarify what the dash is for new people. There are some new people on that may not know our terminology of the dash. JR was adamant about people living life to the fullest, and he would often talk about, when you go to a cemetery or a graveyard and you look at the tombstones, you see the birth date and the death date. And we don't have control over either of those. We don't get to pick our birthday. We don't get to pick our death day. But what we can control is the dash in between those two numbers. And living the dash just basically means living your life to the fullest and creating something that you can leave for your family as a legacy. So when we talk about living the dash, it's about, living life to the fullest and taking advantage of all the time. He would talk about how all of us only have 24 hours in a day. We all get the exact same amount of time in one day, but the impact that we make on each day is varied from person to person. So it's about living a meaningful life each and every day. And we never know when that last date is going to come. So just live each day to the fullest.
And I think that that's something that I want to mention before we move on, is that you should never question the impact you have on another person. What seems so small to you has allowed another person to move a mountain. What feels like a kind look, smile, even a gentle touch of encouragement is the difference for so many people in being able to create and reach their dreams. And I just want to reiterate, there is no small thing that you do for another person. You're wildly impactful. And, they often say that what is engraved in stone matters not. It is what you have engraved in the lives around you. And JR is emblematic of just that.
Definitely, definitely. So when we talk about making an impact in people's lives moving forward, we can do that in multiple ways. We have so many gifts that we can give to people, right? One of them, like you were talking about, is believing in them and giving them an avenue where they can create their dash and live the life of their dreams. And we have amazing products. And so maybe the way that we impact people is first by, and if we work through the basic 5, right? Typically when somebody's just getting started, their first focus is on helping people with the products we have. And once they have a customer base and work through maybe a trial run, maybe they're working through their names list, growing a team of people that can help do the same to help create that impact in each person's lives. But sometimes people come up with questions, and those questions may feel like an obstacle, or they may feel like an objection. And you and I talk about this a lot. For those of you that don't know us, we teach together at the Nutrimetrics consultant training. We should probably introduce ourselves. We just kind of jumped in with that. My name is Brandi Murphy. I'm the Director of Training and Field Development with Nutrimetrics, and I'm joined with Dr. Deedra Mason.
Yes, I am the Vice President of Product Development and Clinical Education for the company. And we have been close as friends and as trainers, and definitely, hopefully, part of your family for many years now. And so it's always a pleasure for us to be able to do this. But it's true, over those years, Brandi, people will come up with obstacles, and sometimes they just feel like they're so hard to jump over. And secretly, Brandi and I are like doing this, because if you're running into obstacles, then you're actually out there trying to do things. If obstacles are coming up for you, or questions are coming up for you, congratulations, because you're doing it. You're getting out and you're trying something new. You're paying attention to the needs of others, and you're asking important questions. And of course, when you've got someone that has an obstacle, right? It's really a request for more information to understand better. So my first pro tip is to never feel like obstacles that come in your way are meant to be an argument from a person that you're in a dialogue with. And Brandi, you and I talk about this. It's important that it maintain a dialogue, right? That we say that, that we ask, what is it that I can help you? What is it that I can help you with? What types of questions, and where did that come from, right? Because so many obstacles that come up come from a past experience. And I think that allows us to get to know the people, whether it's a customer, we're looking at someone that would be a business partner, has unique strengths, skills that we believe would be an asset to help them grow their legacy. And I just think when it's a friendly dialogue, it's one of the very best places to go. And I personally think reframing what feels like an obstacle as an opportunity to say, what can I learn from here? And clearly I'm doing what I need to be doing because these questions are coming up.
And those are all great points. And when you're talking about the dialogue, there are some people that learn by asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And sometimes, we teach in the Nutrimetrics consultant training about a value, like being able to read people's personalities so that you can meet them where they are. And if you come across somebody that's asking a lot of questions, and they may even be asking them in what feels like an argumentative tone, like, don't let that get you upset, because that might just be their learning style, right? And what I have found, and especially working with some doctors, we have found that some of the doctors learn best that way, and they seem kind of argumentative in the way that they ask their questions. But once you answer those questions, they become your biggest advocate, right? Because you've helped them overcome that obstacle, and now they have belief that they didn't have before. So I bring that up to say, if people are asking those questions, don't let it get you down. And even if you don't know the answer, you can always find the answer. So reach out to us, say, that's a great question, let me get back to you. And then you can message us on Facebook, you can email through Nutrimetrics, email product information. There's so many different places where you can go. You can talk to your senior business partners to get the answer that you need, and then come back to them. And if you help them get over whatever their concern is, odds are they're gonna believe in you and believe in your product and want to move forward.
And I often in that situation will encourage people to just simply share that question they've never, I'm so glad that you're asking questions. I'm so glad that we're doing this. Right? I'm so glad that you're asking questions. I'll be fair with you, or I'll be honest with you, or I'll be frank with you, right? That question's never come up before, but what I want to be able to do is make sure that we get that question answered. Right? Tell me more about where that comes from. Do you have past experience with product? Right? Try to ask some engaging questions, but say, with that information, I have someone that I can speak to, and I'll be able to get back to you right away. But no one ever has to make up an answer. No one has to feel like they're on the spot. It's perfectly reasonable to say, I love that you're asking that question. I'll tell you, I've never been asked that question before. I wouldn't want to be irreverent. I want to give that the thought process it needs. And I have this great business partner. I think someone that I can reach out to, and we can get a qualified answer for you. And what you've done indirectly is allow people to know that you're part of a team, that you're part of a larger group of people that also can be an asset to the customer that you're speaking to, or a prospective business partner.
Definitely. So let's start with product questions. Okay. I think let's start there. We're gonna go into kind of a gamut of questions or things that might come up when you're working with growing a team. But let's start with the products, because I do think a lot of people start with trying to get a couple of customers first. And we have a lot of products. And so sometimes one of the questions are, it's a little overwhelming with how many products are available to us. How do I know where to start? How would you answer that question if somebody is brand new and they're trying to figure out where do they start with introducing products to their potential customers?
Okay, so very much in Dr. D fashion, I've got more than one answer for this, Brandi Murphy, right? Because there is no one answer for this. One of the things that we joke about, but and we joke about it so that it really sticks, is that if you don't know what to take the Nutri-Physical. We have a wonderful online quiz. This online quiz takes a customer, a prospective business partner, a physician or practitioner through a series of questions. And I love talking about it both from a consumer standpoint, someone that's looking for what is the right product regimen for them, but also someone that may be looking at creating a health and wellness business around them. Because we do want to expose the tools that the resources that have been created that allow having this conversation, this dialogue easier. So if you don't know what to take the Nutri-Physical. It's a getting to know you quiz, and then it's followed by 8 different pillar quizzes that can allow a consumer to choose what's important to them. They may want to get started with healthy sleep and find out what kind of sleep avatar they are. They may want to jump to a joint health and muscular fitness quiz because that's where their interest lies. And one of the best parts of this for a new franchise owner or someone that's new to the health and nutrition side of our business, Brandi, is that it allows them to let customers bring up what's most important to them. I think sometimes we have our own personal experience, which is a critical part of success, right? Is having your own story, having your own success with product. But I find that we often will encourage people to do what we've already done. And the Nutriphysical definitely opens up and says, listen, there's things here for you that may be what you create, or I'm sorry, what you would consider a pride of placement or the most important principal target for you. And it may not be the same thing for me. The second way I might introduce that, if I'm not using the Nutriphysical, I'm thinking that I want to have this one-on-one. Maybe, Brandi, I'm thinking I want to be the one that has authority with this person and gives them that authority. You know, one of the things that I am going to do is I'm going to stick to what I refer to as my universals. I'm going to speak to products and I'll let you know how I do it. I'm going to speak to products that work in so many parts of the body that I'm able to express to my customer the value of this product as a result of the multiple areas in the body that it functions. Vitamin D is a great example of something like this. Vitamin D works in so many different parts of the body, but it also has this other superpower. Your customer has heard about it. Your business partner or prospective business partner has heard of vitamin D, right? And as a result of that, they say, oh, now let's get into a conversation. I've heard about vitamin D. Now we've got a little bit of this going on. Like you and I are talking the same language. I've heard about vitamin D. I know it's important. You're able to tell them it works in so many different parts of the body. Listen, my job is to make sure that we spend your healthcare dollars as responsibly as possible. And I think one of the best ways for you to do this is with a product that works in multiple areas of the body by sharing one that they've already heard of, like vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium. You're normalizing the conversation because they've heard of that too. And unconsciously or otherwise, they're now in the conversation with you. But it also opens up a really important step, Brandi, in the conversation, which is what makes your vitamin D different? What makes your magnesium different? Is there something that I need to know about your omega that I'm not getting from a different omega? And the third thing that I do when I say, where do we get started? Is I will start with, are you, we're asking the right questions. I need to know, are you a supplement taker? Are you a sometimes supplement taker? Are you occasionally doing it? Like what drives you to be a supplement taker? And what they will reveal to you is what they want help with, right? Right then they will say, yeah, I mean, I do because I don't sleep. I'm a supplement taker. I'm looking for supplements because I have joint discomfort. Yeah. I want to be a supplement taker. I've been a supplement taker before. I haven't really seen the benefit from it, but I still haven't found anything for focus, right? They've just told you what's important to them. And now you get to bring that up.
So a couple of things I want to just touch base on. There were a couple questions coming in. I was jotting down, so I didn't forget them as you were talking. One of them is, where do they find the Nutriphysical? Because there were some people that haven't taken the Nutriphysical yet. And so let's talk about that. For an unfranchised owner, you can find the Nutriphysical in your unfranchised back office. You could just go under the ordering screen and scroll down. You'll see Nutriphysical there, and you can log in and you can take it. And I strongly encourage you to take it first, because once you've had the experience of taking the test yourself, the quiz yourself, and Robert's pointing out it's also in the marketing, it's in the marketing app too.
It is.
Once you have taken the quiz yourself, you can explain it much easier to other people. And that's a common theme that you're going to hear us talk about, is that you can't lead where you won't go, and you can't teach what you don't know. So if you're asking people to take the Nutriphysical, but you haven't taken it yourself, there is a little bit of incongruence there, right? Because you're asking somebody to do something you haven't done. If you can talk to it from your personal experience, it's going to be a little bit different. So I just wanted to comment on that. Now, your customers can take the Nutri-Physical on your customer facing website. So if they go to shop.com and they type in the search bar, that's the easiest way, I think, to find it. Wouldn't you agree, Dr. Mason?
Yes, it is.
Just type it right in the search bar and it will come up. If you're a Nutrimetrics health professional that is on and you have a Nutrimetrics.com portal, it's right on the homepage of the Nutrimetrics.com site. So there's various places where customers or patients, clients can go to get that. Then another question or comment that came up that I just wanted to point out. Mariana, I missed your name. I don't want to mess your name up. Maria Elena wrote that she's been using products. She's enthusiastic about products. When she talks to people about products, they can hear her enthusiasm, but she's having a difficult time making the sale. And so one of the things that I would try to figure out there is what kind of questions are they coming back with, if any, or are they just like, oh, she's really excited about that, but I don't know how I can get it. Like, we need a little bit more information about what you might be doing that might not be asking for the sale. Like, are you asking them if they would like more information about it? Are you asking them if they would like to try it? And where my head went in reading that was, have you tried trial size marketing?
Yeah,
because
that's perfect, Brandi.
Sometimes, if you're not familiar with trial size marketing, we have a whole handful of these types of products. Like this particular one is for digestive enzymes. Okay. And when you open it up, it's a nice little postcard, and inside are 3 2-dose packets of the digestive enzymes. So it's a great little sampler that you can give to somebody. You can order these, right? You can order them in packs of 10, or you can go into your unfranchised back office. When you place an order, you can add them to an existing order in the cart, or you can send them from the unfranchised marketing app. So again, multiple ways that you can use the trial size marketing app, but there's multiple ones. There's one for Thermochrome V6. There's one for NeuroFocus. There's one for Bliss. There's one for the daily essentials packets. So you can give them these and then encourage them to try them and ask them how they feel. Ask them what their favorite part of taking it is. And we have a lot of tips that go along with that. We could do a whole training just on trial size marketing, which we're not going to do tonight, but there are lots of great videos if you go to the Market America YouTube channel on trial size marketing and how to utilize that.
And one of the things that I just want to add to that, because people will sometimes use the trial size marketing when it comes to actually getting the sale and following up and saying, listen, you've tried it, you liked it, we're still conversing. It doesn't happen. And as Brandi said, we could do an entire training on that and actually have some great resources that I'd love for you to plug into. But it's often at that moment where we want to make sure that we're practicing. And I love something that Melanie Nelson says. She says, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes professional, right? And, one of the things I think is important is we still need to create value for them. So whether it's the NeuroFocus, whether it's digestive enzymes, we want to make sure that we give them the takeaway, the thing that's in it for them, what's in it for them. It could be, as you mentioned, Brandi, there are people that are critical thinkers, maybe they're natural skeptics and they're tending to ask questions, right? We may need to show them the data. And so we want to make sure that they know that we use trademarked ingredients in our product. And that may be one of the things that's enough, right? You may want to think about a 5% or a 10% discount on their first order, right? What's in it for me? Is it validation that I've made a good choice because of the formula? Is it something that's going to make this more affordable? Now that I've tried it, is it something that's going to make it more affordable for me? And we definitely want to be thinking about the conversations that we've had, right? Because we want to pull out, again, that better sleep, less joint discomfort, more energy throughout the day. They told you something in the conversation that allows you to come back and say, this is why I've chosen this for you. And then sometimes just encouraging them by letting them know that you have multiple customers that have found a great deal of success. Sometimes people want to be a part of a tribe, an in-group, and they recognize if there's other people that have found success, then I'm willing to give it a try. But it is definitely creating a dialogue where practice again makes professional.
And I love, there's a lot of people saying in the comments, like, I could get better at my follow-up. I could get better at at answering questions or asking questions, because sometimes people don't know how to get it from you. And so even you asking the questions, is that something you'd like to try now that you've tried 3 days? Do you want to try a month and get the full benefit? Even sometimes it takes 90 days to see the full benefit of a supplement. And so maybe you want to try it a little bit longer. And then I want to ask you the question, and this goes back to how do you get started with introducing products? If you were introduced to the company by their products, and we find that about 50% of people are customers before they are franchise owners. Some people were introduced directly through the business model, but most people have had some sort of personal experience with product themselves. What made you want to try a product, right? Because what I find in teaching people sales and marketing is you are your best avatar, because you have had a certain amount of life experience. You have a certain amount of training behind you. Even if you're brand new, you have your own life experience. But what was your experience with the product? What made you want to try it? And then talk to people that are, and when my trial ran out, I felt it. And so sometimes getting people to try a product and then go off of a product helps build belief, because they notice when they go off, right? And that was part of my biggest experience, is that I was able to talk about my personal experience and how I felt better when I was taking the product. When I went off of the product, I didn't feel as good. And now I never want to go off of the product. And people would ask me when I first started, what's going on with you? How do you feel? I'm like, I feel great. I take this purple powder that I got from my friend Steve. And that was all it took in the beginning for me to get a couple of customers, because I was referring people to Steve to buy the purple powder. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know what the ingredients were. I just knew that it made me feel better. And me sharing my enthusiasm, me sharing my personal story, and then me asking them, do you want to try it? Was how I got started.
Well, I want you guys to hear something that Brandi said. She said it 3 times. She said, to get the full benefit. Would you like to try it for 30 days to get the full benefit? It's important that you stay on this for 45 days to get the full benefit. And one of the things I think can be very powerful is to make sure that people understand that it takes that commitment for the full benefit, right? And what you've done is you've overcome an obstacle. How quickly will this work? What should I see? And that can be an effective way to overcome that obstacle, is to let them know, I'm giving you a sample here. This is to make sure that you like the taste, that you can see yourself mixing this up, that you find that it's as easy to use as all of my customers, right? Not as easy to use as I do, but all of these other people, right, that have enjoyed this product, choosing some of those words, right? I have many customers that are wildly successful, right? I have, multiple people have told me this, but I love those words that Brandi just used, which is to get the full benefit. This is to see if you'll like it. This is to see if you'll take it. If you're like anything like the literal hundreds of people that use this product on a daily basis, you'll find after regular use for 30 days, that you can realize its full benefit.
Yeah. Now, you brought up a couple of other things that lead to other questions.
Yeah.
And one of them was, how do I make it more affordable? And you were talking about the coupon codes, right? And some of the people might not know, the brand new people, that if you can go into unfranchise.com, under my customers, you can enable coupons, and you can do a 5%, a 10%, you can do a 15% coupon, and you can choose whether you want them to use it one time only. You can choose whether you want it to be just for first-time customers. You can give them a window of time that the coupon is good, right? So that you could say, for the next week, I'm going to offer you 10% off if you buy now. Then if they like it, you can also put them on auto ship, which gives them a little bit of a discount on auto ship too. So I just wanted to address that. But one of the questions that will sometimes come up is people will say, I can find relatively inexpensive supplements in the grocery store or at the drugstore. And what is the difference between your products, which are a little more expensive, and grocery store brands? And why should I choose your brand over others? So why don't we go a little bit into that conversation? And I love Stephanie just commented on, talking about the daily cost of products, which I think you talk about frequently.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, it's one of the easiest ways to do this is to take a product that feels expensive and talk about how much it costs per day. What we're doing is we're creating something far more digestible, far more palatable when we think about, well, I could do that. right? We want to liken it. And I do the same thing with the sugars that are in isotonic as well. I will liken it to something in their real life. And so I will often liken it, and Stephanie does the same thing. You'll liken that $1.34 a day to being half the cost of what they're spending on black coffee. If you're like so many other people, you're spending $5 or $6 a day on coffee. And that could be what the supplement costs you for a week, or, for your work days. There's ways to do something like that. But along the lines of cost per day is an effective way to do it. I definitely fall back on delivery, that supplementation and formulations are far more than choosing the right ingredients or in the right amount. You also want to make sure that you're working with a product line that pays attention to the sourcing of ingredients, the combination of ingredients, but something that I find often gets overlooked in all other brands, or in most other brands. I don't want you to be disingenuous. In most other brands is delivery. And if a product is diluted or damaged by stomach acid, or is delivered too soon in the body, then the supplement is poorly formulated, right? Because we have isotonics, because we have products that are specifically formulated to survive the digestive tract, because we have products that are specifically created with specialized ingredients and specialized delivery systems, we can say with a lot of authority that if a product is damaged by stomach acid or is delivered too soon, then the product, often what we find in over-the-counter stores, is created or formulated in an inferior way. And that's why I like working with the Market America product line or the Nutrimetrics product line, because they don't just focus on evidence-based ingredients. They also add the cofactors that support that leading actor ingredient to do what it's supposed to do. We're not just looking at trendy ingredients, but how that ingredient works in the body. But probably what really sets us apart, and I'll say that often, what sets us apart is not just the quality of those ingredients or formulation, but that we also considered proper delivery of that product. And that's one of the things that makes isotonic superior to so many other things that you can find over the counter. No, and I'll usually tell a story, or I'll usually say most people find that they're using less of their over-the-counter products because they have found such benefit with OPC or activated B complex or an isotonic magnesium. They often find that the results that they were looking for can be found in one product. It just needed to be delivered better.
Well, and that's part of my story as well, because I was taking a lot of other products that had similar ingredients than the products that I started taking from Market America, but I didn't feel the difference. And learning more, knowing what I know now, I didn't know this back then, but a lot of people don't have great gut health, right? A lot of people don't. Delivery really does matter.
I don't want that to get away, because it's not something that I said, but it's something that you said that I think really needs to be repeated, which is not everyone has a healthy digestive tract, right? And part of absorption of those products that you're getting over the counter, part of the factor, one of the factors, one of the key factors, in fact, of whether or not a product will produce results for you is, were you able to properly utilize it? And with more and more issues with sensitivity to foods, new to nature molecules in our foods, carrying excess weight or not getting a good night's sleep, we're less apt to be able to absorb our nutrients. And even if you can control for all of those other factors, age limits absorption. Age limits absorption, and we need to have a higher commitment to supplementation. So wouldn't it make sense to me? I think it makes sense to you. And I do encourage them to be on board with me, right? And I do a lot of this, you and I probably agree on this. And what that means is, if age limits absorption, then you and I can probably agree that you want to make sure that your products are properly, properly formulated for delivery and absorption.
Now, one of the things that we teach on the doctor side of things is that, you know, we have a unique delivery with isotonics, but that's not our only unique delivery
No,
system.
you're right.
We have a lot of really great delivery systems, and sometimes people will come up with obstacles to isotonics. They'll say, I don't like the taste. I don't like the fizziness. I don't want to drink my vitamins. Do you have something else? And we have a lot of great options for them. So what would you say if somebody gave you the objection that they understand the benefit of taking products, but they're just not in love with isotonics?
You know, I say, you know, you again, I always want to make sure they understand that they're in a crowd of some pretty great people. Like, you're in good company right now. I always want to make sure they understand that you're like many people that I work with. Again, I've made myself an authority. I work with a lot of people, right? I've had this experience before. You're like a lot of the people that I work with, where they find there's just some level of ease in swallowing pills. And the best part of this is that isotonics is not the only thing that this company does well. We don't just look for those quality ingredients. We don't just look for proper sourcing and combination of these ingredients, but we focus on delivery, even outside of the isotonic line. So our curcumin product, our cap and cap, our multi-phase release technology, with our thiaminol product. Sometimes, and I love this, Brandi, sometimes the fact that we source as well as we do creates its own delivery system, because with our curcumin extreme, we use a whole root curcumin, which is a higher bioavailability than when the product or the turmeric is extracted from the root. I will often talk about a purity of process. Again, I'm constantly thinking about the words that are going to elevate my product over what's available over the counter. And when they already have, Brandi, a great product line, maybe it was recommended by a physician or a practitioner, and they have a lot of belief in that product, I will also make mention to them, or I will ask them if there's anything that they haven't found a solution for, right? I don't need to change their brand until they want to change their brand. What I want to do is identify a need that they have where they have yet to find a solution, where isotonics may benefit. So I will just to summarize, I will tell them they are in good company. Many people prefer capsules or tablets. This company does both of those very well. You may want to look at our sustained release technology and the probiotics and multi-phase release technology. The fact that we use vegetarian capsules is something that I think that you're going to appreciate, in that this is a high quality product.
Totally agree. One other comment that I saw in there that came through, somebody asked a question about metabolic support and not being able to exercise, but wanting to be able to support their metabolism. And I just want to point out, because we didn't talk about this, you can take the Nutri-Physical, yes, but the TLS weight loss quiz might also be a good option for somebody like that wants to help their metabolism, that maybe can't exercise the way that they want to, or that they know how to. Our TLS lifestyle solution might be a really great fit. They also mentioned they have some health challenges. So I would mention, take the quiz, see what products and what meal plans, because food is important too, right? We don't just want to take supplements and not teach people to be healthy. We want to teach people how to live a healthy lifestyle and how to eat foods that are going to support their metabolism. I think the TLS weight loss quiz would be great for a customer like that, or for you. But then if you have questions about supplements with your medication, make sure you talk to your physician about taking products along with your medication or health challenges.
Without a doubt. And one thing I would like to point out in regards to that is, many times those that are working in the health and wellness industry feel like they need to be an expert in all things. And it's not necessary to be an expert. It's necessary to make sense to the person that you're speaking to. And so when we think about weight, when we think about, and this is just the kind of unifier that I just want to give everybody. When we think about weight, when we think about energy, when we think about healthy sleep, when we think about hormone balance and aging, glycemic control, and even cardiovascular health, you just need to have an equalizer. And all health starts in the gut, period. You can say that with authority. You can say that with agency, that all health starts in the gut. Whether we're talking about metabolic, endocrine function, whether we're talking about aging metabolism, or we're thinking about extra weight, mental health, all of these things. If we can start someplace that communicates or informs the rest of the body about health, that means we start in the gut. What we really want to do, and you get them excited, what we really want to do is not go straight to a product that is supposed to boost our energy, but to go to the source that helps us create energy. I think where we need to get started is with gut health. If you guys can find an equalizer like that, mine is gut health. The road to health is paved with good intestines, right? So my equalizer is gut health. For some of you, it may be sleep, and that's a fair place to start. Find your equalizer that says where we get started is here. And this is the reason why I want to get started here.
I have to ask my doctor, but I don't know what to say to them. And so if you have a customer who is working with a practitioner, what would you say? You know, we have talked before in the past about, you don't just say to them, can I take this product? Yeah. You have a solution for how you recommend people approach their practitioner about taking a product. Do you want to share that with them?
Yeah, I do not encourage anyone to say, can I take this product? Listen, a confused mind says no, and your practitioner may say no. What I would prefer any customer or individual that's looking for personalizing their own care, simply say to their doctor, I'm going to start taking this product. Is there any concern that you have with that? Or I'm going to get started on this product. When can we get back together where we look to see, how we want to track how, and they do still want to have options. I will encourage them to say to their doctor, I want to go ahead and get started with diet and supplementation first. I'm going to do this. Is there anything that you wanted to look at or ask before I get started? I want to know how we're going to follow up, right? I will also share with you that while some practitioners do have an affinity for a brand, something that they have experience with, the only reason why they're recommending that is because they have experience with it, right? That's perfectly fine. Is there any reason I can't take this vitamin D? I know you've got your vitamin D. Is there any reason why I can't take this vitamin D, right? I think it's important to say, these are the things I'm going to do, and I want you to be a part of that healthcare talk with me. So is there any questions you have before I start this product, right? I do, as I was saying, I do think that many practitioners, if they are recommending supplementation, will recommend a brand that they are familiar with. And so that's why I'll say, is there any reason why I can't take this one? And I've gone as far as when a practitioner may say, do you have proof that that product will do what it's supposed to do? Now this is a little bit of the feisty person in me, but I'll say, do you have proof that it doesn't? Can you find proof that it doesn't? Yeah. Right? We do know it's a very good reason to take supplements.
That ties in with one of the questions that was written in is, how do I know that your products are evidence-based? Can you show me your products featured in journals? And so let's talk about that, because, we talk about sometimes, well, the ingredients are featured in journals. It's a little bit different than like a drug study, right? It's just done very differently. And so there's a lot of literature about the ingredients. It may not be the literature they're reading, but let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important. If someone were to say to me, can you show me where this was found in a journal? I would say, well, then we'd have to go to the advertising section of that journal, right? Because that is where, in fact, products are found in journals. It's ad space. Yeah. Right now. But what I can then point to, but if what you're looking for is evidence of an ingredient, right? We use trademarked ingredients, and I can in fact point to studies on thymoquin, specifically the black seed oil that we put in our product. I can point to studies on pycnogenol. I can point to studies on core biome in our advanced digestive support product in Access Nutrition. I can point to studies on saffron. And so that's where I make a joke about it, where I said, well, I can find products in journals. I just have to go to the advertising section of the journal to be able to do that, where the ads are, right? But definitely we can look at these trademarked ingredients. I will also normalize it by letting them know that there are not actual finished products that get reviewed that way. It is not as Brandi was saying, it is unlike the pharmaceutical industry, where research and development includes that 10, 15, or 17 years of trials and what have you. But instead, studies have been done for decades on particular ingredients in patient demographics, or certain questions or queries have been asked. And we can support evidence that way. And you'll find our branded ingredients in the literature.
Absolutely. And I did see there that Sophia wrote, she knows a lot of physicians that don't believe in supplements. And, we specifically work with a division called Nutrimetrics that works with health professionals. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of them out there who do believe in supplements. And sometimes it's a matter of training. And up until relatively recently, when I say relatively, I'm talking the past 10, 15 years, there wasn't a lot of nutrition training in the medical schools. In 2019, in fact, the University of, here in South Carolina, the Medical College in Greenville, it was the first college in the country to include nutrition in all 4 years of medical school. Prior to that, which is 2019, that's only 3 years ago, by the way. Prior to that, they had a couple of electives they could take on nutrition. So a lot of them just didn't have the training. But there's been a paradigm shift. Nutrimetrics was created in 2004, and we see a huge difference in what we're seeing in the market today versus what we saw in 2004 in the number of practitioners who are seeking out nutritional training. Because their patients are demanding it. Their patients are coming to them, they're asking questions. Their patients are already taking products. Greater than 70% of Americans utilize supplements, and they're going to their doctors and asking their doctors questions they don't know how to answer. And so they start, every time that happens, they start thinking, well, maybe I should look into this more. And the paradigm is shifting with that. And many, many more are looking for solutions, and we have solutions for them to train them on that.
Right. And I do love that you said, well, there's a boatload of practitioners that don't believe in supplementation. There's as many that do. And those that are patient-centric, those practitioners that are speaking to their patients about what their patients desire, what type of outcomes does their patient want, are also willing to have the conversation about supplementation. I'll share with you, Brandi, briefly. I met a lovely primary care physician on the plane on one of my last trips over the weekend. And she was fascinated by the gut biome. She was fascinated by a podcast that she just simply stumbled over. And the conversation turned into vitamin D and the differences between vitamin D. And I recognize, don't get me wrong, I recognize I might have a very different conversation on a plane with someone. But I literally said to her, you are the exact type of practitioner that I am lucky enough to work with. We do not need to end this conversation right here. Mm-hmm. Right. And you guys, nothing. Listen, I may never see I was like, I had just all the opportunity in the world because I may never see her again. Right. I had the opportunity to say, listen, this conversation doesn't have to stop here. Right. This is fascinating. You're exactly the type of practitioner that I engage with on a regular basis. This conversation does not have to stop here. And it's up to her. Again, no pressure, right? Just can I get your information? And I just think it's important that we recognize, sure, there's people that don't believe in supplementation. I'm going to try, and don't hear me softly when I say this. I want to live for the 63%, the 78%, right? Not the 12%. 78% of adults in the United States, including practitioners, take supplements. Right. You can't hit 70%, 78% of the population without like grabbing a couple of health professionals in your numbers. Right. So I think it's really important for us to know that it's more common than we think. Quality ends up being the question. Delivery, in my opinion, ends up being the differentiator. You've brought up great points, Brandi and team, that price points, and how do I know it's going to be of benefit? These are all things that are going to come up.
And that also leads to the conversation about, well, I Googled something and I didn't find the information I was looking for. And so whether we're talking about a product, whether we're talking about the company, just keep in mind, you can find anything that you want to find on the internet. You can find an argument for or against anything that you are looking for. There's always going to be people who believe in what you believe, and there's always going to be people who believe in the opposite of what you believe. And we're not in a convincing business. That is not our intent, is to teach you to be convincers. Our intent is to teach you to be sorters and to have conversations and sort through the people and find the people who are looking for the solutions we have, because they're out there. There's a lot of people out there that believe in supplementation and are looking for a good product and would love to find the products that we have. But I'm not gonna like beat my head against the wall trying to convince somebody that supplements quote don't work, right? That they should try a supplement. Because what does don't work mean? Well, you know, I took it and it didn't work. Didn't work for what? We're not trying to replace a pharmaceutical. We're not trying to cure a disease. We're looking to support the body nutritionally, right? And so we can always support the body nutritionally, especially considering that most Americans still eat out of a window and eat out of cardboard
Right.
all the time. And so we want to be able,
which is the number one reason why people supplement today. It is a way for them to fill in gaps where their diet falls short. It is something that they find easier to do than eating healthy. And today, Americans are like kings of junk food.
Mhm. Well, and then going on that same line, and we're almost out of time, but you know, if people are Googling the company and they see something they don't like, as an example, why not show them the Torch Awards that we've won and the Better Business Bureau Awards that we've won and the Ethics Awards that we've won, right? Like, this company is based on integrity and the products are based on science and integrity and powerful formulations. And they're such a gift. But I saw somebody way up earlier in the chat say your store is not open if your mouth is not open, or something along those lines. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but we have to be willing to talk about products with people. We have to be willing to talk to people about the business. And if we're not talking to people and not dialoguing with them and not digging in and asking more questions, then we're not going to have the success that we want. So it's all just about connecting with people, meeting them where they are, finding out what their questions are, and then helping them find answers to the questions they have. Wouldn't you agree, Dr. D?
Absolutely. That's exactly it. I love what you said. We're in the sorting business.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the informing business. Would you like more information?
Yeah. And I think we're at time. So I think that was great. I just want to thank everybody again for taking the time to join us today. If you just joined us, know that our thoughts and our prayers and our hugs and our love are with you and the entire Market America team. And we thank you for joining us tonight. It is important to stay together as family and stay connected, even as we move through some difficult times. But thank you for taking the time to spend time with us tonight.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.